You know, I think that's as good a time as any to start. Welcome to Crimson Desert. At this point, I'm just kind of randomly wandering and seeing what I can run into, which is basically all you could ever ask for in an open world game. Now, as onto the question of whether or not it's a good game, I'm going to say yes. Is it a great game? Yes. Is it an awesome game? Definitely. Is it an excellent game? Not quite. So, you know, like 8 or a 9 out of 10, maybe. And this is after they've done some fixing. You might have noticed that little glide maneuver I did earlier. That would have been impossible on the V1 of the game. You guys hostile? Oh yeah, you're hostile. Alright. Oh, is that a freaking gun? I knew guns were going to be a thing, but I hadn't run into any of them. They don't seem too dangerous so far, but that's probably just because brainless NPCs are using them. Okay, there's definitely some lead flying here. Wolf Tracker, that's not a good name, considering I'm a gray main and our whole, like, motif is wolves. Okay, I think those guys are basically just done. So yeah, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a wolf tracker. And I'm not very enthusiastic about the fact that they have freaking muskets. Did that guy just throw a musket at me? He threw something at me. Oh man, how many of these guys are there? This kind of brings me into another subject. How does the game play? It's sort of a combination between a Musou game, which for those who don't know, that's Dynasty Warriors and whatnot. A little bit of Zelda, a little bit of Souls-like. A little bit of Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, I should say. Okay, that appears to have convinced them otherwise. And it is a little janky. One of the things that really holds this game back is the fact that it was originally designed to be a mouse and keyboard MMO. And as such, the controller controls, I should say, a little bit complicated and clunky at times. There's a whole lot of press this button, then that button, or press this button in this situation and that button in that situation, which leads to a lot of awkward moments where you are trying... I can't take that apple? Seriously? That's another thing I don't like about the game on occasion. You're trying to pick something up and instead you just start jumping because they're the same button. There's also not very many good ways of telling what is and isn't something you can pick up and what is and isn't useful. Oh, I missed that guy. Oh, hi buddy. What? Where did that other guy come from? Did he summon that guy in?
I owe you a great debt.
They're dropping random iron ore. That's nice. I kind of want to get on top of that mountain. So let's go do it. Yeah, one of the great things about this is that Pearl Abyss, the guys who make this game, seem to be like speed running the No Man's Sky route. And if you don't know, No Man's Sky was a game that was basically heavily hyped, but it severely underdelivered. It was released half-baked, full of bugs, and just with like 90% of the promised mechanics not in the game. But it sold so well that the developer had so much money that they just poured it all back into fixing up the game. And at this point, No Man's Sky is a better game than the game they promised to make. And, you know, everybody used to hate them. Now everybody pretty much loves them. They think they're great. This game released in a much better state. I didn't really notice any major graphical glitches. There was nothing like, you know, game breaking. Ran just fine. It just had some really clunky controls, especially when it comes to like even basic movement, but that got sorted out within like a couple of days. Now it feels you log in one day and it's like, man, this is a little bit clunky. You log in the next day and it's like, yeah, that's noticeably smoother. For whatever reason, this mountain is very hard to climb. All the slopes they're not slopey enough to grab, but they're not shallow enough to actually walk up. Still, okay, see, that is just a really big tower for no good reason. Let's see where on the map we actually are. Storm Talon Ridge. Interesting. Another thing is the glide ability, that thing I did with like the cloak, because every open world game has to have the ability to glide nowadays. Thank you very much. I want to say Zelda, but I think it was actually started more in the Just Cause series. But don't quote me on that. Everybody associates it with Zelda. When Genshin Impact does it, they say they ripped off, you know, they say they ripped off Breath of the Wild, which, yeah, they probably did for 90% of that game. Oh, that's something new. Malachite butterfly. Yeah, it makes sense. Whoa, random shield laying on the ground over here. Random treasure chest. Also, kiwis. For whatever reason, there are kiwis in this game. Lubricant. Apparently there is time for lubricant. Let's see, that's the sort of thing I like. Random exploration being rewarded. Then we stand up here, we look around, we got a nice little mountain lake, got a village nestled up on it, we got a castle over there, we've got a fort and a bunch of fortifications over there. Any of this hostile? I don't know. Let's go find out. Basically, the success of any open world game can be determined by how viable it is to just start walking in some direction and find something cool. And that is something this game is very good at. I really hope at some point I'll be able to upgrade my stamina. What's going on over there? Banditos.
You've been asking for this.
Getting a little too aggressive. One of the big differences between this and a Musou game is a Musou game will send 40 guys at you and the entire horde will attack you once every 5 seconds. Here they'll send 4 guys at you and they'll attack you 4 times every 1 second. If they feel like it. Can I, like, untie you?
Hells, what would I do to deserve this?
Nothing, I'm trying to... Can't seem to let him go. Huh. Not sure if I'm supposed to or that was just a random encounter. Hey, you guys, why don't you go help him?
Well, Matt, I'm craving a proper roast tonight.
Weird.
Which of the best cats all get sent off to the car?
Well, I tried being the nice guy. These little cairns usually have an abyss gear. This is another thing that's just a slight annoyance. Sometimes it's really hard to tell what is and isn't lootable. So you might have to go into first person to actually look around. Is that a straight up orange? That is in fact an orange. Ooh. We can get white boy wasted. A turnip. Looks like a guard.
Good day.
Nope, free sword.
It's strange. Living a life for someone else's will.
This is a proper fort, though. You a guard?
Yep.
Let's see, new faction found, maybe? These guys wear red like bleed bandits, but they're not bleed bandits, obviously.
Yes, hello.
Calphadian?
That old wound's aching again. Still can't believe I crawled out of that fight in one piece.
We got a book here. Do we need to steal it, or can we just take a peek? Nope. Not an actual thing. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I really wish there was some way to highlight lootable stuff. Maybe there is. I mean, it's a big game. It doesn't explain everything to you. Let's see, there's an island, a couple islands here in this lake. Think they got anything on them? I'd like to find out. That was an interesting looking bird. Alright, let's see if we're capable of swimming that far. Rice fish. I know I've had a recipe that required rice fish. Ah. Let's see what we got here. Large bone, bird meat, feather. Spoonbill. Who needs a fishing line when you've just got your hands? Alright, see? This was totally worth it. Barely. Would have been a lot easier to get to that island from on this side. Oh well. All's well that ends well and all that. Yeah, I kind of figured that would actually hurt me. And frankly, that's good game design. It's telling you, hey, you can climb along the side of this, just don't go over top of it. Teresa, we do another subject, considering he's been in the news a whole lot lately. The news, quote unquote. Notice how I just immediately understood what my mistake there was and then committed to never committing it again? At least knowingly. That's considered a standard gamer skill. Hell, it's considered a standard human skill. Some people do not learn that sort of stuff, like, you know, DSP. And I sometimes think he's just playing it up. Like, I think he has to be smart enough to understand how game mechanics work, especially after presumably decades of being a gamer. You jump on the spiny, he has, you know, in Super Mario Brothers, he has spines on his back. You know, take damage, you lose your Super Mario, you die, lose a life. You don't go, oh, this game sucks, why didn't it tell me I couldn't do that? It did tell you you couldn't do that. He's covered in spines, my guy, right? There's a very good metric you can use to tell whether a game sucks or if you suck. Look at how many other people are playing it. See if they have the same problem as you. See if they care. This game, last I checked on Steam, had like, what, 250,000 concurrent players. It's doing very well. People have the achievements for getting into the higher chapters already. They have obviously gotten past all the parts that, you know, you seem to be having trouble with. So the problem must not be you so much as it is... Sorry, the problem must not be the game so much as it is you. You need to figure out what the game's trying to tell you and then act accordingly. I ran into a bit of a log jam on that quarry mission from earlier. I was getting completely mobbed. I was dying too quick. I wasn't killing them fast enough. So what did I do? I figured out that, hey, isn't there a blacksmith? Don't these weapons have like little bars that are talking about refinement and upgrades? And then I figured out, oh, you need to go to, you know, iron veins. Smash those up to get some iron, cut down some trees. The game gives you little tutorial missions for all of this stuff. I wandered around a bit, found some gemstone outcroppings. And when I got those gemstone outcroppings, I was able to up this tarnished ring I picked up somewhere randomly. And the moment I put 1 bar on it, it was like, hey, this gives you a bonus to attack speed and stamina regen. I don't have any better ring. Why would I not upgrade it and slap that thing on? And see, you can see this is upgraded to 4, upgraded to 4, 4, 3, 4, 3. You get the point. And then I went back and I was taking half as much damage. I was doing twice as much damage, and I didn't like steamroll the place. But I also took a little hunting expedition for an hour. Built up a whole bunch of meat.
Greetings.
And next thing I know, Quarry wasn't even all that hard. And that wasn't necessarily because I got better at playing the game. It was because I played the game better. Bit of a distinction there. I think I saw a bug over here. This game does the Skyrim thing where bugs are alchemy ingredients, which reminds me, I don't have alchemy yet. I also don't know how to put bisque gears or whatever into my weapons. But just poking through the notes the game has, it's pretty obvious that I'm supposed to find a coven of witches and have them teach me at least one of those two things. I'm pretty sure it's the latter. But it could be the former. I mean, they're witches. You'd assume they're also good at alchemy. So it's probably going to be both those tutorials wrapped up into one. Hey, jewel beetle. See what I'm looking at these palisades and going, oh, I'm not going to climb over them. I'm going to look for the entrance like a good little boy. Here we go.
Do you see me standing here?
No, not really.
You stink of trouble.
Well, that I do. But it's the good kind of trouble. I'm pretty sure anything in here is going to be either non-interactive or... Huh, that's not stealing. I mean, if they're just... They probably don't need arrows anymore because they all have guns, so they don't care. Apparently I'm allowed to rest here. One big complaint I have about the game is there's no character customization. For what I hear, Black Desert, the game this is based off of, had an excellent character customization system. And here they are just forcing you to be a basic protag Cliff here. And Miriam. I do have technically a second character I can play as, but
What's the story?
I'm used to Cliff at this point, so I'm going to stick with him for a while. If I ever have to actually level up Miriam, I will. Oh, wild goats go down real easy. Deer take like 3 or 4 arrows. I think that's the first actual goat I've killed. Pine mushroom, that's new. Probably useful for cooking or alchemy. Give me that. Give me that. One thing I kind of wish when it comes to this sort of stuff is that it would be a little bit more Skyrim, so it would be a little faster. It can be a bit tedious, just kind of... Ooh, I am getting cold. But I'm finding strawberries. Wait a minute, am I only getting cold specifically when I'm standing in these flowers? Or is it something that happens when I head up a little bit north? Yeah. Okay. We're a little bit too high in elevation. We're going to have to come back once we get some actual, like, cold resistance. Oh wow, he went down real fast. What is that thing? Looked like a deer. Let me skin it. See all that bunny hopping I'm doing for no good reason? Oh, it's a reindeer. Oh, a reindeer calf. That's why it went down so easy. I mean, that guy only took 2 arrows. Come on, game. There we go. That was considered a deer and not a reindeer. Weird.
First I'll pummel you, then it's a cell. Someone needs to teach you a lesson.
Just trying to hunt here, boys.
It ends now.
Yeah, I lost him in the bush. Oh well. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I've got to say about the game so far. Controls are a bit clunky. It's very system dense because it was originally supposed to be an MMO, but with, you know, life skilling and whatnot. Graphically, it's pretty solid. I mean, I have it set to performance as opposed to quality, you know, which is what you're supposed to do when you're a gamer. It still looks pretty fan-freaking-tastic. I mean, look at this stuff, right? Is that the same? Yeah, I think that's the same one. I kind of want to see what's that big tower over there. And that's kind of what you're hoping for in a game like this. You see something, you're like, ooh, I want to go touch it. I think that's one of the brilliant things about especially the original Dark Souls, is that it wasn't an open world game necessarily, but you did have that sense of looking over somewhere and being like, oh wow, look at that tower in the distance, that's pretty cool. And then 3 hours yet later, you climb up this big tower, you get on top of it, you look back and you're like, oh, it was that tower. Interesting. Open world games like this are a little bit more direct. You see the tower, you just go up to the tower, and you look around from the top of it and be like, yeah, this rules. So I definitely want to see what's on up there. Calfade Beacon. I've also seen this called, what was it? I think it was like a Larian guy referred to it as a cynical combination of borrowed mechanics. And just like, I really don't think that's a very valid criticism at this point because, I mean, there's only so many ways you can do certain things. We don't, for example, say that any game with a jump mechanic has cynically stolen it from Super Mario Brothers. It's freaking jumping. That said, there are some very obvious borrowed elements, or at least seemingly borrowed elements. For example, the Abyss basically being a bunch of puzzle boxes in the sky. I mean, that's literally what Tears of the Kingdom was half about. And it very obviously has a lot of Elder Scrolls influence, but then again, I mean, so did the original Demon Souls, and that made something special. This area has been very extensively logged already. Haven't noticed a lot of, like, ore spots in these mountains for whatever reason. Sulfate logging camp. Oh, well, that makes sense. And see, that's another thing. Environmental storytelling. I pretty much already knew this was a logging camp before I got here. So when that pops up, I am basically Jack's complete lack of surprise. Ruddy Daggerwing. Finding all sorts of new butterflies. I find it kind of weird. Oh my god. I just caught Sanic. Apparently he wasn't fast enough. Go on. Let's see if any important things pop up. I've got a gray dot over here, which implies that's someone worth talking to. That's another thing that apparently they fixed. Used to be if you went up to a locked door and you had a key, it just immediately used it. You had no choice in the matter. So I added a prompt so that you can actually save your keys for what you want to use them on. That was the logging camp. And what do we got over here? Or is this just more logging camp? Calfade Northern Depot. That's cool and all, but can I get a teleporter site? Or at least, that's another thing I'd kind of like, is it might exist in the game, but I haven't noticed it yet. The capacity to sense the abyss gate or whatever things on the ground that you can fast travel to. Because if I wander this far off the beaten path into a weird spot, I kind of want the ability to come back just in case. But that requires basically finding the proverbial needle in a haystack. That might be someone worth talking to.
A good technique, sure, but the force behind it. The target didn't just break it, bloody exploded. I watched an arrow completely obliterate a target in a single shot. What technique could those scrawny little goblin bastards have used?
Alchemy.
Time moves slow as frozen piss when there's no fighting to be done. Might as well put these idle hands to work and sharpen my blade.
Agreed. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, bud.
I've been working all night. My eyelids are about to snap themselves shut.
That's another fun bit of environmental storytelling. Guys like, oh, I have no idea how that arrow made the guy explode. What could those goblins be up to? And I'm just over here like, okay, the goblins have alchemy. They can make exploding arrows. Good to know. Alright, that is a very dramatic tower over there.
He thrust his blade with the fury of the heavens. No man could have held his ground.
Tell me about it.
Lightning crackled with every thrust of his sword. You couldn't get near him without being scorched. Foul little runt. But the power he wielded, it was immense, unnatural. Truth be told, I thought him an easy mark. Fool's error. If not for that damned lightning.
Alright, guy had a magic sword. Gotcha.
Think you can cross a free sword and walk free? Not a chance. Traitors I deal with personally.
Good to know. Not going to piss you off unnecessarily. Oh, is that tower going to be in a cold zone? I think it is. Yeah, I definitely see snow at the base of it. I'm feeling froggy. Well, come to think of it, cold mostly affects stamina regeneration. Climbing up there is going to be a feat in and of itself. Five-Finger Mountain. I'm actually actively not trying to fight whoever you guys are, so I'm just going to ignore you. Oh, hey. Why you do this to me, horse?
Yeah. Huh.
Cold does not seem to actually affect my health, which is good. Definitely does slow down stamina regen. If there's one thing Skyrim taught me, it's that mountains can be sufficiently jumped over. The problem is that they've added actual climbing mechanics, which somewhat confusingly, shoot, get off the horse. Which somewhat confusingly have made it harder to climb up mountains. Funny that. I'm still recording this because I totally want to get up to the top of that mountain and just turn around and see a nice, flat, level road. Whew, man. Yeah, that cold is just absolutely eating my stamina. Oof. Come on, buddy. We can make it. I do appreciate that the cold doesn't do actual HP damage. There we go. I think I just found the intended path. Spire of Ringing Truth. Find a way to the basement of the spire. Standing next to a fire does in fact warm you up. Good to know. Oh hey, diamonds. Haven't seen those before. For a second I was thinking torture chamber, but now I'm thinking excavation. Or construction. Maybe renovations, because this place is pretty run down. something I missed? Let me take a better look. It's too high. It kind of looks like I could get higher somehow. Alright, this has become a puzzle platformer now. Which one are the chains attached to? I thought this was going to be a fire puzzle. I'm reasonably certain I don't trust this walkway. Interesting, that was almost bad. Classic game design, you gotta go to the very top of the thing to get to the basement. Still got a ways to go. Oh, okay. That's not a ladder of any description. I thought maybe I could climb up that. Man, you'd have to be a gymnast just to work on this place. that didn't work. Oh, this is a bit of a pickle. Don't see any other obvious entrances. And I think that stuff up there is just slightly too high to jump to. Didn't work. Maybe I need to think outside the box. There we go. Oh, come on, there's no way I'm supposed to walk along that. Oh my god, I am. Okay. Ladder directly in front of me. Okay, that bell is very large, very heavy, and gently swinging. There we go. Make sure we're not missing anything here. Oh, fucking hell. Okay, I am not supposed to be here. Let's at least try to love tap him and see what happens to his health. And if I get offed again, I'm just going to leave this guy for later. I can always just come back. I am definitely not supposed to be here. The fact that he's speaking in wingdings to me doesn't help. Yeah, people are trying to tell me this is a bad game. This is an awesome game. That whole sequence is like half an hour. And it ends in me getting absolutely raffle stomped. It's fantastic. His health bar moved. So yeah, I'm not losing any runes or souls or anything by skipping out of there. We'll just let that guy chill until, you know, we have about another +4 on everything. Good to know that he exists. Good to know he's probably worth a whole lot. Black bears.
Playtime's over.
X and square. Okay, good to know. Oh, there's more of them.
Again! Hit me again!
Alright, it appears that I have accidentally wandered into what I'm going to guess is a late to mid-level game. And that is a man riding on a bear. That is just a straight up man riding on a bear. I am entirely not surprised that happened.
The North has no place for you.
Oh, come on. We did the exact same move. I started first. But I saw a prompt saying that there was a refugee somewhere, so now I gotta at least try to let them go before the rest of everything else shows up. Maybe up here. Oh!
You're just a piss stick.
Well, okay. There's just a random mini-boss there. Yeah, I am definitely not supposed to be here. What is that? A lot of cooking supplies here. Chewy rice cakes times 11. Holy hell. There's a friggin' smorgasbord. How many guys is that? That's a lot of guys. I am not supposed to be here.
Run all you like. It won't save you.
I mean, I tend to disagree. Okay, we successfully managed to infiltrate into a late stage area, unlock a probably mid to late game mini boss, actually just straight up boss and mini boss. And accidentally run into discretion, valor, better part, etc. Good to know that Calphadian territory is right on the edge of where the black bears are. my god, horse.
Hiya. Oh.
Man, I wasted 2 arrows on that thing.
Run.
Oh well, is what it is. Arrows are fairly cheap. Alright, I think I'm going to cut it there. I've rambled on while recording enough, I think. This is going to be over an hour long, which is really out of character for me. But oh well, I hope that gave you a taste of the game. Maybe it'll inspire you to pick it up for yourself, because I do recommend it, especially if this is your genre. Which, for me, it definitely is. Open world plus a little bit of Soulsborne. I can dig it.